I had so many dreams for the future, so many ideas of how to make this place a better world for children and for those who are suffering, until someone came to live in my house, a family member, and he started taking away my dreams. At age 17, I had the dream of creating a space where victims of sexual violence could find what I never found, which was someone who says, I believe in you and you're not alone.
CUBE, as it is now, it's the only institution in Bolivia that provides free, comprehensive services to child victims of sexual violence. And that means that when they come here, they receive free legal services, social services, psychological services, and also medical services. It's all integrated into one child-centered approach. And I think that's what makes CUBE a really special place.
Now it's a whole program where thousands of girls are receiving therapy and justice and dreams for the future.
One of the rooms we have upstairs is it's a play therapy room, and the basic model that we use is trauma-focused play therapy. So that is a space where we provide therapy to children who aren't yet old enough to really articulate what happened to them. So we're talking sometimes 2.5-year-olds, 2-year-olds, 3-year-olds, all the way up to 6, 7, 8. They do well with it. Oftentimes what happens when they go in there is, I don't even know if it's conscious always, but they start reenacting what's going on in their homes. That really helps us to understand what happened to these children, because a 2.5-year-old's not going to have, generally is not going to have the vocabulary to talk about the abuse they've suffered in their home. And so by having this space where they can play, it allows them to get it out.
He started separating me from my family, separating me from everything that I loved. And then he started sexually abusing me and using a lot of very manipulative ways to make me feel that I was the one to be blamed, that there was something wrong with me for thinking that what he was doing was wrong. The prosecutor mistreated me a lot by questioning me, by threatening me to put me in jail if I continued to tell my story of being insensitive for causing harm on him or on my family. I couldn't be silent, because throughout this process I found that there were hundreds of other children going through what I was going. And so I started going to universities and telling my story and inviting them to come and walk with me against sexual violence. And I used August 9th because August 9th was the day of my court date and one of the hardest days of my life. I went on TV, I went on the radio, I started talking to people, inviting them to come to the march and to wear a blue ribbon to show that they were against sexual violence, and it was beautiful. And then on August 9th, when people started just coming and appearing with blue ribbons, and there were thousands of people just rallying around saying, we're against this, you are not alone.
Do you know what it's like to be faced by the strike of someone you love? It's enough to make you lose your mind. So I think it's time I've stayed in my mind, and there is no turning back. You've done the crime, my heart ain't confined, so let us face the facts. I'm walking away from this disaster. You're fading faster, got nothing to say. Baby, I'm stronger, so I will live longer. I'm walking away. I'm walking away.
And it's beautiful because every department of Bolivia is now having a march against sexual violence, and we are also starting to have them in the very, very remote communities. People just getting together that day to walk. And what's the most beautiful is that this walk is guided by victims of sexual violence, little children survivors of sexual violence who also felt alone and who once in a while look back and see, I'm not alone. There's thousands of people behind me saying that what happened to me is not right, but I'm not alone.
From this disaster, you're feeling faster. Got nothing to say. Baby, I'm stronger, so I will live longer. I'm walking away. I'm walking away. I'm walking away. I'm walking away. So I think it's time. I've stayed in my mind, and there is no turning back.